What's up, guys? Crypto Noah and Jay Manchin back with another fundamental deep dive. We know you guys like these deep dives, so we're going through another RWA protocol. You guys know we're super bullish on real world assets, as we think it's going to be the most powerful narrative, maybe not the sexiest, but the most powerful narrative going into this bull market. So we're trying to cover the ones that are at the top of the chain that people are looking at, so we can give you guys a nice, solid idea, unlike most of the videos that I've seen on other YouTubers covering this project that just talks about price and da-da-da-da-da. So we're going to give you guys a real peel behind the curtain and let you guys know how we feel about the project. So in this video, we're going to go through the docs or the white paper. We're going to go through everything that we can find on them, the tokenomics. We're going to go through the Twitter. We're going to go through what problem they're solving, some of their analytics, like are people actually using the platform? And if you stick around to the end, we're going to give you our non-biased opinion on the project, what we think of it, and if we're buying it or not, and why. You ready, man?
Let's do it. I would say it's also pretty sexy, by the way. When you see that RWA put together, it's pretty attractive. I'm not going to lie. Something about it.
You ain't lying.
It is. There's something about it, man.
You ain't lying.
So it might be the sexiest. So anyway, let's jump right into it.
Let's do it. All right, guys, so here we are on the docs for Mantra. We're going to go through the light paper. So it says here, over the past several years, there's been a lot of different blockchains. Many claim to be faster, offer more features, more user-friendly, da-da-da-da. And then they go to say, why are we introducing yet another chain? Let's hop into it.
I don't know.
So it says, Mantra recognizes that the Cosmos ecosystem, so this is a Cosmos blockchain, lacks a chain that is specifically designed to provide regulatory compliance across a wide range of RWAs and tokenized assets. So basically the Cosmos SDK similar to Avalanche, they allow you to build your own blockchain, have your own validators and, do custom things with it, but you're still within the IBC. So it's kind of like you're connected to the hub and all of the Cosmos blockchains are interoperable with each other. And Cosmos is aiming to be interoperable with other chains. That's like their whole thing, like the interoperability chain.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same concept as to why like AT&T cell phones or Android cell phones can communicate with an Apple cell phone. It's kind of like that same idea.
Yeah. So it says, given this gap in the current ecosystem, we strongly feel that a chain of regulated digital assets will create a forward-thinking protocol that attracts users from diverse backgrounds, many of whom may not be current participants within the crypto space and who value the importance of safety and regulatory compliance.
So essentially, as we just said, so Cosmos is designed for interoperability between different blockchains. And so they're effectively building a layer in which all these different blockchains that are interoperable with each other, they have a framework that exists on the regulatory side, which we're going to get into.
Yeah. So it says here that it's clear that the regulation of the Web3 space and the products and services that Web3 provides is coming in many jurisdictions around the world. Mantra Train welcomes this development. They're being developed with the regulatory compliant modules so that it can capitalize on licenses from regulatory authorities such as Soma.Finance's US licenses and the licenses Mantra Finance would pursue in the UAE, Latin America, and other jurisdictions around the world. They believe that this will attract institutional and retail users that potentially come from a more traditional and regulated background. Furthermore, a chain designed to service regulated digital assets will not only attract a wider range of user demographics, but also institutional and retail developers that look to build products in a regulatory compliant and transparent environment. So basically, guys, they're trying to create a walled garden and have all the regulations set in place so that when someone comes and builds on the Mantra chain, they're already compliant and they don't have to do it on their own. And if you keep watching the video, we're going to go through if people are using this regulatory compliant chain or not.
So yeah, effectively they're leveraging Soma.Finance's regulatory compliant framework, which is a Reg CF. So that allows them to raise capital through crowdfunding. I guess my only question would be, if you're only allowed to raise up to $5 million within a 12-month span, how does that really help the long-term scalability of the regulatory compliance side in the US? Does it help, or are there more hindrances?
Especially if they're trying to attract institutions. $5 million for an institution is a drop in a bucket. And from what I know, institutions typically don't raise money via crowdfunding. It's usually private placements, private offerings.
No, 100%. And I know Soma.Finance, their specialty is on the retail side. And so while that could be very beneficial to a small subset of people. This is relatively speaking, of course, because $5 million could come from 10,000 people, 5 people, 20 people. And so it's subjective. I guess we'll have to see.
5 million total
in a 12-month period. So only
that's even worse.
Yeah, every 12 months they can only raise an aggregate of $5 million through crowdfunding on the U.S. side. I can't speak for the UAE or Latin America, but I would just be curious, how does that benefit the scalability aspect if you're severely limited? Because if we talk about $5 million, in terms of TVL, you could lose or gain $5 million in one day. And so how does that really benefit long term? I'm a little confused on that, but like I said, maybe we'll answer that question indirectly here.
Yeah, and one of the CEO used to work at Soma.finance, so they do have the relationship component, but we'll save our opinions for the end. All right, so now why build on Mantra Chain? So we talked about the compliance applications built on Mantra Chain will benefit from a compliant environment on which to build, access to regulated assets, and transparent ecosystem to build openly. They have the Web3 engine. So it says here, Mantra Chain welcomes Web3 builders to develop on top of the chain and gain full benefit of integration with the chain's sustainable yield engine to attract and reward participants. And then it's interoperable because it's built on the Cosmos Hub. So some of their key features and products: real world asset tokenization, so tokenizing assets; decentralized identity, soul-bound NFTs. Decentralized identity is almost like proving that a wallet is yours without revealing your identity.
To the centralized server, at least.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's ZKPs involved in there, but that's for another video.
Yeah, no, I noticed a lot of people are starting to use these soul-bound NFTs as well.
Yeah. They have a fiat on and off ramp. Well, they say they would. The only on and off ramp right now in crypto are centralized exchanges. There is no way on any platform, unless you're selling a stable coin, and that's what they're talking about. But to get money back in your bank account, we might be a ways from that, from some chain. You can't even do that on Ethereum, guys. Come on. And then token service SDK that comes standard with anything you're building on. Compliance, it's not there yet. Native DEX, okay, everyone has that. Interoperable with Cosmos, they just listed that up there. Yield engine.
Well, Mantra compliance is there because they're not doing it. They're leveraging Soma.finance.
But it's not in place yet. Yeah, and then, they're saying the compliance, but, maybe they filed something and they're waiting, and they're just waiting to talk about it, like once it gets approved. So, we're going to keep our eye on this project, but as of things are right now, it is not regulatorily compliant to build on Mantra Chain as we're at the time of this video.
Yeah, and I haven't done any research on Soma.finance in a very long time. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if Soma.finance has found a way to actually launch their compliant framework on the crowdfunding side. So yeah, I'm not sure if that Mantra compliance is actually ready yet either.
All right, guys, moving on to the ecosystem. So it says here, unlike any other chains that built their infrastructure and then look for developers to build on their platform, Mantra Chain will already have a thriving ecosystem in place. I don't know, that just is like the biggest heap of bullshit I've read on here because it's not in place yet. And it says here, this is because we are bringing pre-built compliant dApps from two well-known brands, Soma Finance and Mantra Finance. So they're bringing compliant dApps from their own. Mantra Chain is also partnering with several on and off ramp solution providers to ensure a seamless user experience. I would love to know what these parties are or companies are. And it says, lastly, Mantra Chain is set to bring a new set of audiences to the Cosmos ecosystem, making it a dynamic and diverse platform for all. And that's literally all they say about the ecosystem. It's no one. So guys, let's hop over to DeFi Llama. You can see right now that the total value locked is $1.07 million, guys. But the market cap is $681 million. Now, we made a video on Pendle Finance, and this is like flipped upside down, where the market cap is like 600 million, but it's 5 billion locked on the platform. So this project is severely overvalued.
And I would say severe is the perfect word, because unless actually it's due for a very, very large pullback.
Very large.
So, yeah.
Like, guys, if you look at pretty much any other chain, you can see this starting to grow with the bull market. Like the TVL and DeFi has been increasing. Not up in here. Not up in here. And then if we look at some of these, so you got the volume increasing, even though I don't see where it's showing. liquidity is increasing. So I think a few weeks ago it was like not even 1 million. And then let's see, look at staking. Staking's been increasing. But if we look at developers, you can see throughout the life cycle, the most that they had was in March 2021, three developers, guys. And then one. Guys, I'm going to tell you something about platforms. Developers build the applications that people use. If there's no developers, there are no people. Just like if no one builds a city, no one's just going to live in the middle of a desert. Like, people have to come and build first. And that will give you the trajectory as to what you can expect from the platform. So you see the developers. Let's look at the developer commits. Also extremely low, guys. 4, 7.
I mean, this
4.
project, I know we want to save our opinion to the end, but it's like, it's just hype. This is all hype. That's literally this. If there was a perfect example of a project gaining value because of hype, it would be Mantra. And I'm not hating on Mantra, because what they talk about in terms of being regulatory compliant, I always say that is what's going to win out. Something that focuses on the regulatory side of things. But for the fact that although they're a layer 1, the regulatory compliance side is not coming from their layer 1. They're leveraging another blockchain for that. So it's like, almost, I kind of just want to ask, like, what's the point of Mantra?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the staking is people just want to stake so they can like make more Mantra because they see it's pumping. I would venture off to say that
it's been treated like a meme coin right now.
Yeah, I would venture off to say that it's not because people super believe in it. Or maybe people do because they are reading the white paper and all seems cool, but people probably aren't looking at these. They're looking at the price. They're looking at the size of the wallets that's holding it, which are mostly exchange wallets, and the team. So that's why we make these videos, to give you guys like the real deal spiel.
So, this kind of reminds me of back in like 2017, 2018, when people were just buying projects because they were new. Simple as that. Mantra is not really new, but they're talking about some pretty novel concepts, and in terms of the regulatory side of things. But like I said, it's been treated like a meme coin. I don't really see the actual value at all. I mean, 1.07
I see the potential,
million,
but not the value.
The potential from what they say, but not from what has been done. And the fact that it's a $681 million market cap, and you only got $1 million TVL, that's pretty insane to me. Anyway, I'll let you continue.
Before we go back, one of my favorite quotes by Warren Buffett that you guys have probably heard me say a lot. In the short term, the market's a voting machine. In the long term, it's a weighing machine. Right now, people are speculating on this. They're voting on the RWA narrative. But the weighing part comes in once the fundamentals and the weight actually sets in. And then the real projects are going to retain their value or not drop as much. Guys, look at this. Come on, it's pretty obvious.
Looking at the USD inflows, I mean, yeah, you got some very, very tiny ticks up in terms of inflows. But for the most part, it's been outflows for a good while here.
Since here, pretty much.
Even on the last wick, you can see. I mean, that's negative. So since June last year, basically they have net outflows. So I mean, USD has been leaving the protocol. I can't speak for other currencies around the world. And if we switch it to ETH, it's the same thing. There's only been outflows.
All right, guys. So for the team, and the team is actually listed on the website. We'll have a look-see at that here in a bit. But it says they're a well-balanced mix of experienced professionals from diverse backgrounds, including seasoned veterans in the field of digital assets and crypto, banking, and trading with prior training and work experience at companies like PwC, BAML, Citigroup's, S&P, and Credit Suisse, among others. So it seems like they have a pretty cool team, but I don't know. Maybe they need to think a little deeper. So when you go to the Mantra compliance, they just talk about a lot of stuff that they're kind of just repeating themselves throughout the docs, and they show you how they go about being compliant. But, I feel like if it was that good, people would be using it, but no one is right now. And they just give you all of the, they have the SDKs. They show you how to operate a node, develop a smart contract, da-da-da-da. Let's kind of look at their roadmap. So phase 1 was supposed to be November 2023, and this is supposed to be a testing, block production, module testing, and effort tooling. Mainnet launch is supposed to be H2. I don't know if that's quarter 2, but let's say it's Q2, so that should be happening pretty soon. Finance integration, bug bounty, and the grants. So that's probably when they're gonna start paying people to build on it. But yeah, we'll see if they actually start to like hit these metrics. So now that we went through all this, let's go through the tokenomics, because a lot of times in crypto, it's not all about how good a project is. You want to make sure that it isn't a bunch of VCs or the team doesn't have 90% of the supply and it's about to be unlocked tomorrow and you just bought today and now that you're going to get dumped on. So if we look at the tokenomics, you can see that they're actually not bad. So they have a market cap of 674 million. Fully diluted valuation is 739. So most of the tokens have been unlocked already. And if we go to their medium that they published in 2020, when the admission schedule started, you can see that most of them are pretty much unlocked, right? So the tokenomics are good. You don't have to worry about getting dumped on. They go on to talk about like how much the team got, 17%, not too bad. Staking rewards, referrals, like pretty much everything. All right, guys, so if we go onto the website, hence, this is why we have the pink. I know you guys don't care, but you know, they pretty much, it's a cool looking website. They talk about everything we kind of talked about. You know, it looks cool. I'm trying to see where the team
That
is.
was an original photo, a Game Boy Advance hooking up into a Rubik's Cube at the top there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Anyway.
All right, so you got the team here. So this is the co-founders here. If we click on their LinkedIn. Okay, so he was also the co-CEO and co-founder of Soma Finance. And that's pretty much it. He did that for a few years. And let's check out Jayant. So he's a partner at Korthos Capital right now. So I'm not gonna say it's a red flag because I'm working on multiple projects at once. But for something like this, you working on a layer 1 blockchain and then you're a partner at a fund. You know, he's had multiple positions here. And then he was a content creator before that and an advisor before that. So guys, it's not uncommon for like founders to have no experience and then just make a successful product. But just being straight up honest, there's a lot of other projects with teams that has a history of doing things that prepared them for what they're working on now. And honestly, I don't see that here too much. So guys, also they have 2 different websites, which is kind of weird, but you know, whatever. Their testnet is live also. So we were already on the About Us. So let's look at Charu Parikh. So she was a delivery lead at Mox Bank and a senior consultant at HSBC. And then she was at Infosys for a while. So she seems more qualified than the co-founders, if I'm keeping it a buck with y'all. And then let's look at Matthew Crooks. Okay, he's a director right now at ExoSquare. He was at Galileo Platforms. He was a CEO. Galileo for 6 years. And he was the co-founder and director at Recreo Financial Technologies, director on investment. Okay, man, these 2 people seem more qualified than the CEO.
That's why they brought him on, though, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, you know, not too bad, I guess, but
they have a pretty good team. They have a good potential product.
A good potential product is the perfect word. And then if we go to Mantra.finance, I think they should have just like put this all on one website because it's kind of confusing. So if we try to launch app, we won't be able to look at anything because, you know, we are in the US of A.
Well, there you go. Try to okay.
So we can't even see like the staking and everything like that. But if you want to go the VPN route, more power to you. More power to you.
So I'm wondering, you know, once they get to the crowdfunding portion through Soma Finance,
should we just
will it only be available to people who they've raised money from? Or is it going to be ubiquitous, meaning anyone will be able to invest into the platform as a retail investor? Because it kind of seems like there's going to be some exclusivity there on the retail side, in that the only people who can participate in the network outside of from buying the Mantra token are the folks who invested money, like a part of that $5 million that they would invest each 12 months.
Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, guys. So for those of you stuck around to the end, let's start to give our honest opinion on what we think about the project, even though I'm sure you guys can probably guess, and if we're buying it or not. So I'll go first. I am not buying it. So I want to take you guys
Really?
through. Yeah, man. You know, it was a hard decision, but I just decided not to, man. I'm going to pass on it, even though they undervalued as fuck. So, nah. But, guys, I'm going to go over the first reason. Let's take a look at their Twitter. Okay, so 180,000 followers. Okay, that's great. Pretty good interaction. But if you go through the posts, it doesn't seem like they're shipping. And like I said, they could just be waiting on regulation to get things going. And if that happens, I will admit that I'm wrong. But as of right now, and we've been watching this project for a while, they've been around since 2021 with the same goal. It should not take that long, actually.
Well,
They don't have anything on here saying, hey, we have this compliant certificate or we launched this new feature. It's just, what is this? The countdown to Dubai. That was like an event and another event. And it's great.
although it seems like a very fun event, I'll probably enjoy myself there, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, it seems like they're networking, but they're not shipping. Like, they're not building. They just keep showing vanity metrics. Like, talking at events. Like, they haven't announced anything, guys.
And granted, yeah, when you're working on anything that needs to be regulatory compliant of any framework that exists around the world, especially the US, yeah, it could take some time. But because it's such a huge marketing piece for them,
It's been 4 years.
yeah, maybe they should have waited to start talking about that so much, because it's dangerous for the project itself to have so much hype with no fundamental real world product that's actually taking off at the moment. And that could be dangerous to the value of the company in the long run.
It could make the regulating bodies not want to do it.
Exactly,
They're going about it
because they
backwards.
see how much speculation has fueled the growth of this company in terms of price.
So, I don't think they're shipping. I'm not saying they're working hard. I could be wrong. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. I can only go off of what I see. Another reason why I'm not buying. Fundamentals are lacking. Like, guys, if they've been around since 2021. Radix just launched their mainnet and they got the developer commits have been rising. The developers have been rising. It's no reason why in a bull market during the RWA narrative, some developers, even 10 or 20, would be like, let me try this regulatory compliant chain and see what we can build. No one is building, guys. No one. It's a ghost town. It's a ghost chain. And then lastly, and I think this is the biggest part, they're building a regulatory compliant blockchain. BlackRock just launched their BITL fund on Ethereum. And we made a video going through the whole shebang, the securitized partnership and investment, like literally everything. If BlackRock saw potential, they would have built on Mantra. That would have been perfect if they had things in place, and that would have made other projects or funds want to tokenize and build things on there. No one's doing it. So for me, like Mark Cuban says on Shark Tank, I'm out. What you think? You buying this thing?
No, lack of developers, lack of clarity in terms of what products are actually live at the moment. I mean, you kind of have to read through everything and piece it together yourself. And I don't think that's such a good trait to have. Everything should be laid out in such a way where you can figure out, okay, this is live, this is not live, this is live, this is not live. And then it allows you to make your decision. And also, there's too much speculation fueling the price right now. And so for me, if they aren't at the top, and because, of course, I could be wrong, guys. We're talking about crypto. And so it's fueled by speculation, the entire market. That's kind of somewhat normal. But the variance between TVL versus market cap is too great for me to put any money into it right now. I don't care if it went up another 50%, 100% or not. Because to me, I'm still making a fundamentally sound decision by not investing right now, because it could be a blow off top. It could be. Who knows? And so lack of developers, the rampant speculation, and that's in addition to everything else you just named. So no, it's not a buy for me. If I bought this, I will not feel good about it. Like, I know they say, hey, try to keep your feelings out of an investment. But naturally, when you buy something that makes sense, you're naturally going to feel good about it all the time. This, I know I wouldn't feel good if I put a fucking dollar into it. And so, no, things could change in the future. But right now, no, because like I said, the potential for the product is pretty amazing. And I always say any project that focuses on the regulatory side in the US specifically, they're going to have a slight edge, 100%. I just don't see that with them just because, like you said, they're mainly focused on vanity metrics. And it doesn't seem like, and this might sound counterintuitive to a company's founders, but they don't seem like they're fully committed to launching these products. It just doesn't. Or else they either would have provided some type of update on the regulatory side as to where they are, not just parties. And hey, who knows? Maybe they're announcing them at these parties and just not publicizing them, which would be weird. You should publicize
Nope, people would
them.
say it and they would retweet it.
See, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but there's nothing. And so for me, I'm out.
Yep. And guys, this project is number 2 in the RWA sector. Number 2 behind Ondo Finance. In front of Pendle that has $4 or $5 billion locked on their platform. In front of Centrifuge that has millions in loans outstanding. In front of Maple that has hundreds of millions of loans outstanding. So
it has to have a lot to do with the founders always being out there marketing themselves. And so that's what kind of fuels the speculation, because you're not going to see Pendle founders that much, Maple founder that much. You're not going to see them as much as you're going to see Ondo's guys.
Because they working.
You're not going to see them as much as you see Mantra's guys on YouTube videos and whatnot. Like you said, because they're working. And so they're actually developing. And so that has a lot to do with it. And so now going forward, that just kind of opened the adjacent possible for me. I'm going to see how many podcasts and shit these founders are doing. And then match that up against TVL and all these other fundamental metrics. And that will help you determine if it's overvalued / fueled by speculation or not. This one clearly is, though. So once again, not a buy for me. It could change in the future, but I don't see it changing in the future because there are a lot of projects that are fundamentally sound that are clearly undervalued at the moment. And so it wouldn't make sense. It's not like I got $14 billion. So with the limited capital that we have, relatively speaking, of course, it wouldn't make sense to allocate anything towards Mantra right now.
Yep. So guys, with that, one more thing I'll say. I know there's going to be some people who invest in this project because a rising tide raises all ships. And I do think Mantra has more room to grow. It'll probably pump more.
If you invest in it like a meme coin. Don't look at it as like a good long-term investment.
Yeah, unless something changes. Like be like the Fed, change with the data. But ain't been no data in 4 years. But anyway, I made a video on my personal YouTube channel. Follow me at Crypto Noah. Follow my boy at J Mansion. And I show how I would go about taking profits if I were to invest in Mantra. Because, you know, if you guys are going to say, fuck you guys, I'm still going to invest, I at least want to provide you with a plan on what I would do because I do think it will pump and have more room to grow. But use risk management. So subscribe if you want to get access to that video. But with that, if you got value from this, drop a like, drop a comment. Also, constructive criticism is welcome. If we missed some metrics, if we missed some update, if we missed something that we didn't cover in this video, drop it in the comments and we'll look at it and see if it's worth making a follow-up video. But I think we covered everything. But like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. We thank you guys for watching and we'll see y'all in the next one.